WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. You're listening to Wolo and Friends. I'm Bryant Dacus sitting in for Dave Woloshin this week. Jay Morgan still out. He's sick. Still hoping that he can have a speedy recovery. He's been out for probably about, I think, a week now. I think it was last Tuesday when he started getting sick. So hopefully he's back soon because we sure miss him. But sitting in with me today, Zach Boyd again pulling another long shift, helping me out today because we'll also be here for Johnny Radio's Happy Hour in the next 2 hours after this one. But we've got a big show today. We're going to talk a lot about the Monday Night Football game last night between the Chiefs and the Raiders. A lot happened in that game. Big comeback by the Chiefs. Some questionable calls that we'll discuss. We'll also talk about Tigers' new commitment that happened last night. And we'll also be joined by Brett Norsworthy, co-host of Sportstime with Gabe and Stats. He'll join us around 10:30, talk some SEC, some Ole Miss Rebels, because obviously college football is in full swing. But Zach, how you doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing good, man.
Doing good?
Doing good.
Rejuvenated after yesterday, full of energy.
You can say that.
Going to be a fun day.
It's going to be a fun day.
Going to be a fun day.
It's,
I mean, I guess your day is already kind of, we're like midday for you.
Yeah. You know.
My day just started.
When I woke up this morning, it was more like kind of like revving the engine up a little bit. Like, all right, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, let's get it going. Then, yeah, like we're so far so good.
Get that, gas in the tank and ready to go.
Yeah.
Last night, speaking of gas in the tank, I for the first time ever, I was driving last night. I needed gas. Gas light turns on. I pull into a gas station. Don't have my wallet. So I had to drive home, get my wallet, and go back, hoping and praying that I had enough gas to make it. I did, but it was a scary situation.
Yeah, that's why I keep my eye on the indicator at all times.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, on my little gas meter, it tells me how many miles I have left.
Ooh, that's nice. See, I have an old truck, so I'm not that lucky.
So,
and my truck just eats gas. But
no. When it gets under 40 miles, I'm like, let me fill it up because I am
let me
definitely gonna be driving 40 miles in more than 40 miles in a day. So.
But thankfully, I didn't have to worry about that.
Well, thankfully,
much.
you had to push a truck.
That'd be bad. I actually had to do that one time, not because I ran out of gas, because my truck broke down. I had a car at the time, and I had to push it over to the side. And it was me and a couple of my buddies, and we were pushing it, and then it was going too fast. We were pushing too hard. It got some steam rolling, and then we had to run around to the front and start pushing the front of it to stop it. So good times with bad cars, I guess. But I want to start off with the Tigers got a commitment last night, the first commitment of the 2023 class for Penny Hardaway, 3-star Ryan Forrest, shooting guard, committed last night, and pretty much really the first commitment in 2 years because the Tigers didn't have a commitment last year. I guess if you want to throw Ian Granja in there, the international prospect, I guess you could. But in a sense of you've got rankings, you've got stars, you're a player that's kind of been built in the grassroots here in the States. They didn't have one last year. They worked the transfer portal, brought in a lot of older guys, but Ryan Forrest becomes the first commit. He's an athletic guard who is originally from the West Memphis area, went to Marion High School, led the Marion Patriots, I think they are, to a state title game. They did not win. They lost in the state championship game, but I think only lost 8 games. I think they're 28-8. So a really good season. He actually is transferring to Link Academy in Missouri this season, one of the powerhouses in Preps basketball. So he'll play there this year. A guy that really kind of blew up in the AAU EYBL scene this past summer, had a really good spring and summer, played really well at the infamous Peach Jam tournament. I was looking at his stats yesterday. I think averaged like 16 and a half points and I think 6 rebounds. So, and he's only 6'3", so a guy that can really get after it, really likes to score at the rim, a guy that likes to drive. Shooting has gotten better, still not his strong suit. I saw a YouTube video that compared him to Ja Morant. So I guess
I think everybody's getting that comparison.
everyone's getting. If you're athletic and you can dunk on people, you're the next Ja Morant.
You're the next Ja. That's the new comparison.
So, but I guess in a sense, that's kind of his style. Is he's a slashing guard that's going to want to get to the rim. But pretty exciting commit to say the least. I mean, a 3-star right now might not get a lot of people going, especially after what Penny Hardaway's done in the past. But this is a guy that still has a senior year to play. Obviously, more rankings coming out. There is a chance he could jump up, maybe get that 4-star nod. But nonetheless, the first commit to Penny Hardaway's class, and they're going to need guards. I was looking at their roster yesterday. I think they're losing 4 or 5 guards after this year. You're going to lose Alex Lomax. You're going to lose Kendrick Davis.
Yep.
Franklin, he's also a 5th-year senior.
Still waiting to see about
on that waiver. So if that waiver doesn't go through, he could be back the following year. But I'm thinking he'll get it. I hope so. And then I think there's 1 or 2 more seniors. I think Elijah McCadden.
I think this is Jaden's last year.
So you're going to be losing a lot of guards. So you need guards in this next class. And he's a guy that, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, a guy that really takes pride in defense, is really going to get after it. So I think this is a guy that could come in and kind of be one of those under-the-radar guys that gets a lot of minutes throughout his freshman season. So I think he can definitely make an impact early in his career, and obviously we'll be keeping up with him this year at Link. I know Link plays a lot of showcase events. They go, I know they go down to Florida. They go all around the country. I'm pretty sure they've been here, maybe not in the last year, but in the last couple years. I think some of those events that take place over at Briarcrest and Lausanne, I think they've been around. So a chance that you can go see Ryan Forrest sometime when basketball season rolls around, when he's playing for Link. But we had an NFL football game last night. Zach, did you catch any of it?
Monday Night Football, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I caught the second half. Right,
an interesting game.
Right when right when the Chiefs were getting ready to turn up on the Raiders. So that was kind of a. That was kind of an interesting little roller coaster there.
So I guess before we really get into the actual game, I guess we should talk about the roughing the passer call, because we talked a lot about that yesterday when it happened with the Falcons and Tom Brady. But basically, Kansas City defensive tackle Chris Jones goes and kind of makes a tackle behind Derek Carr. Derek Carr still has the ball in his hands. He's in the motion like he's going to throw, but the ball gets knocked out while he's being tackled, and it was really just a basic tackle. I mean, there was nothing really to it, and they throw a flag for roughing the passer.
Yeah.
It was. What was worse? Was that worse than the Tom Brady call?
It depends on the situation, because when Grady Jarrett got flagged for the penalty, I think the Falcons, they were kind of making a late comeback.
They had scored 15 points. That was third down. That would have forced a 4th down, and they would have had to punt, so they would have gotten the ball back.
They would have gotten the ball back. Yeah. And then for the Chiefs, they were down.
Yeah, that was early.
And so it was early. So, but that was definitely like a momentum.
But it would have been a turnover if that had stand, because he fumbled the ball, so they would have gotten the ball back.
So it's kind of hard to say. It's just, in both situations, even though the Falcons are up, you could easily say the Falcons were really needed that game more than the Chiefs do, because you kind of expect, if the Chiefs, like last night, didn't or get flagged for it, they got the offensive weapons to make up for it. But regardless, it was just bad.
They're both bad.
Regardless,
they're both bad. But I think you're right. I think the Falcons was late in the game. It was crunch time. They needed to get the ball back to try to tie the game up. And I can't remember still. I need to go back and look. I can't remember if the roughing the passer call came before or after the pass interference call. But either way, there were two penalties on third downs that became first downs for the Buccaneers and let them just run the clock out. So both were bad, but last night was really, really bad. And even a couple of times, because the biggest thing that they were saying about the Tom Brady one is that he kind of slung him down. And that's why it was called roughing the passer, because he just kind of, threw him down. I saw at least 3 tackles like that last night between those two teams. It was, and so I was like, well, why isn't that being called? Why, if it was being called yesterday, why is it being called? And then I see the roughing the passer call last night, and I was like, that's just a regular tackle. And did you see what they said they called it for?
Because they said that he didn't have possession of the ball when he went to the ground.
Yeah, and I also
they said like his
whole body weight. What are you supposed to do with the tackle?
like Chris Jones is a 300+ pound man. Like, it's kind of hard.
What do you want him to do?
It's kind of hard for him to move all them LBs out the way so that he doesn't get a roughing the passer.
I mean,
it's kind of hard for him, man. Like I get it, player safety and keeping the quarterbacks upright.
I'm for keeping players safe. But at the same time, I almost had an issue with, and I saw it twice last night, the whole, and I'm fine with it, but when a defensive tackle gets back there and wraps up the quarterback, and they just stand there and they call the play dead ball, no, we're done. I'm fine with that, I guess, but it's still a little bit like, hey, let's take him to the ground. Let's
right.
That's the goal. Get him to the ground.
It's like, I'm just gonna put all my LBs on the quarterback so I can get a flag. It's like, no,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, it's either oh, I'm going to tackle you, oh, I gotta throw my hands up. And you if you kind of go back and look at the games this weekend, you saw a lot of defenders when they were charging the quarterbacks, all got their hands up, kind of just almost like a chest bump into the quarterback instead of like a full wrap.
Yeah, and
so it's
bad. It's bad. There's not much you can really say about it other than it was really bad. And this morning, ESPN reported that the NFL is looking into the roughing the passer penalties, especially after these last 2 calls this week, and that they're going to kind of discuss it, take a look at it. But after the game, I thought it was interesting. They talked to Chris Jones, who had the roughing the passer penalty called on him, and they asked him about it, obviously. And he said that he thinks officials should be able to review roughing the passer calls, and that it should almost be like targeting in a sense, where you make the call and then either a coach can challenge it or they just have to go look at it and determine if it was actually roughing the passer or not.
Well, the issue with that is we've already experimented with that type of ruling. This is a different type of ruling, but with questioning the officials type of ruling with the pass interference challenges and stuff. Letting pass interference being part of a challenge, coach's challenge. So I really don't think anything was going to change. I think they're going to stand by it because they're stubborn. Like, they're stubborn. They think their judgment call was right.
And I like the idea, believe me. I think it's a great idea because and his point was it's happening so fast that he doesn't really blame officials for calling it pass interference because everything's happening in split seconds. And so his point was like, if we can just kind of take a minute, slow it down, look at it, step back, watch the replay, and then determine what it is, then maybe, basically you can get some of them right. But I think you're right. I think that makes it difficult. I think, especially if I know if I was an official and I made a call and someone came up to me and said, I think you're wrong, go look at it. I'll go, okay. I'll go look at it. I'll take my time watching it. I'll come back. All right, I was right.
Right, because
roughing the passer.
Because remember how we kind of progressed into this roughing the passer situation. At first, it was, you gotta be at least one step to the quarterback right when the quarterback is throwing. And I was like, okay, cool, like that's what we're doing, and that's what the defense adjusted to. But then it was like, that's roughing the passer. And it's like, okay, so you can't do that. So okay, all right, so we're just gonna kind of tackle with our shoulder, kind of sling them to the ground or whatever. Just try to make it as clean as possible.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. It's like, okay, well, you're telling me not to lower the crown of my helmet when I make contact. So let me raise my head up, aim for his shoulder, which is not his head, and maybe that's not roughing the pass. It's like, nah, that's not it. No swipe downs either, because that if you swipe and hit their head, that's roughing the pass. So it's like it's very hard for defenders to actually have a target on the quarterback.
Yep.
Like, their job is to put the quarterback on the ground. If they get hurt, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
And you don't want nobody get hurt.
No, and you're right. I mean, that's the goal is to have a great product on the field and keep everybody safe. And so I think you've kind of got that kind of find that fine line where we're not. I saw a lot of players reacting, and it seemed like all the defensive players were the ones reacting, and they were all pretty much saying the same thing. We don't want to play flat or two-hand touch football, and that seemed like what it's getting to. And I think Micah Parsons posted a picture on his Twitter of, I don't know if you saw, when he was just getting held like crazy this past weekend against the Rams.
That's been going on since last season,
well, I mean,
man.
they can't stop him. I mean, what are you going to do?
That's been going on since last season.
He makes a move, and all of a sudden, you're just holding him from
right.
behind.
You are in a compromising position to either hold Parsons or let your quarterback get abused.
Yeah, or your
like,
quarterback is done. But he found a picture, like a still image of that, and he said, so we'll call that, but this isn't a penalty, which, as a Cowboys fan, I absolutely loved. But looking into that game last night, the Chiefs, they won 30-29, but it took a lot, especially in the second half. It was a comeback effort. The Raiders looked great to start the game. I mean, probably the best performance that they've had all year was in that first half. Offense looked really good. Defense looked fantastic. They were getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes all night. Crosby had he finished with 4 tackles, but it seems like he might have gotten all 4 of those in the first half. He was tremendous in the first half, all in the backfield. It was great. But second half rolls around. Kansas City starts kind of making their comeback. And, man, let me tell you something. Travis Kelce, it's a bad man.
Yeah.
That is a bad man.
One of his touchdowns, I think it was the fourth one, where they just completely just let this man run free in the end zone. It's like, yo, he already got 3 on y'all. Like, at least put 2 people on him. At least put a person.
Yeah.
A person, man. They just let the man run free in the end zone to get number
ridiculous.
4, man.
I forgot somebody, and I don't know if anybody actually bet this, but I saw someone had the odds for Travis Kelce 4 touchdowns, 4+ touchdowns, and it was ridiculous. And they were like, "There's no way that he got 4 touchdowns." It was all Travis Kelce last night in the end zone. But also, Marquez Valdes-Scantling had a good night. He had 90 yards. Just didn't find the end zone. He did have one where he was really close to the end zone, but they called him short. But late in the game, it's a close game. I think Kansas City goes up 30-23. Las Vegas gets the ball back. They start driving down the field. They find Devontae Adams in the end zone, touchdown. And what do they decide to do with 4 minutes left? More than 4 minutes. I think it was 4 and some change left on the clock.
Go for 2.
They go for 2. Zach, what? And I know it's a bigger thing now with analytical things, and that's a completely different discussion based on analytical stuff, analytics. What do you think just about these teams now deciding to go for 2 on, any late game situation? Some teams go for it anytime, but a lot of teams, it's these late game situations.
Perfect example. Like the Titans played the Giants early this year.
Yeah.
And the Giants needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Well, no, they needed a touchdown and a field goal to tie. They got the touchdown. Yeah. And then Dable said, "No, we're going for 2. We're going to win this game." And I'm like, "Win this game, dude? Like, what you talking about?" I'm like you would lose this game. You're going for 2. And then, sure enough, gave it to Saquon. He got the 2 points. So it's
It depends.
It just depends, man. Like it's kind of hard to say because it is only 2 yards comparing to was it 32, 33 yard,
yeah, something like that, yeah.
extra point. So yeah, like it makes sense for you, from a yardage standpoint. Like if I'm just 2 yards from 2 points, then like yeah, I should go for it.
Yeah.
Now with last night's game, I'm like yeah, no, kick this field goal, man. And because I thought their defensive front was getting pressure on Mahomes, it's just the back end, their secondary was kind of on and off. But when they got the when they got the stop again, and they had a chance to kick the field goal to win it, and I was like yeah, that would have been that would have been the ball game for there. I mean, regardless, it was going to be the ball game anyway because they got the ball back, and they were only down by 1 point.
Yeah.
And so they needed 3, but it would lessen the blow, I guess, a little bit better because it would have been, or if they don't make the field goal or they don't even have an opportunity to make it, you're going in overtime.
Yeah.
You don't have an opportunity to score in overtime to win. So, I mean, it's either or. For me, I said no, don't go for 2, kick the extra point, but. It was like a half a yard away from 2 points if it wasn't for Jacob's knee. So
well, yeah, and it looked like he got in.
It did. I was like, I think that man is in. But it's like, nah, that's not the case.
Well, it's interesting, and my buddy actually, I was on the phone with him last week, I think, and he asked, because I'm a big baseball guy, and baseball is very analytical driven. And he asked me, he was like, do you think analytics has a place in football? And I was like, maybe. Like, I don't think you're going to see teams come out and their whole game plan is going to be based on analytics. But I do think you're going to see this a lot more as teams deciding to go for 2 based on analytics, going for it on 4th down based on analytics. And I think it could be a good thing. I think we're still kind of in a young stage of it. But my thing about it is obviously hindsight's 20/20. I mean, we can all sit up here and say, oh, it was a terrible call. You didn't do it. I'm sure if he converted the 2-point conversion, like you said, what happened in the Giants game, nobody talked about that being a bad decision.
Yeah, no.
It was just, hey, the Giants won the game. I did think it was kind of weird going for 2 with 4 minutes left. I felt like you have plenty of time. Your defense has been really good tonight, other than the second half, I guess. Maybe they were scared if they tie it, they'll just drive down the field and score. I almost think if you tie it, Kansas City's not going to want to try to run the ball out. Maybe you can force a turnover or kind of get them trying to run fast and get a 3rd down stop and make them punt and get the ball back, which they did end up getting the ball back. They try to drive down the field. They get Davante Adams on the sidelines, which would have, I can't remember if it would have gotten them in field goal range or if it would have gotten them close to field goal range, in field goal range.
Yeah, it would have gotten them in field goal range.
Okay, and that was on a 3rd down, too. And so he kind of, it looked like he caught the ball, and the 2 officials right there both were like, "That's a catch."
I'm not gonna lie to you. That I know the public are gonna say that was not a catch, but Devontae kind of explained it in his tweet, like after the game, and I kind of agreed with him because initially it looked like he had possession with the ball with his left hand. It was just the fact that he brought in his right hand to secure it even more. And so they kind of judge it as, he needed 2 hands for possession.
Yeah. So it was,
but he had it. Yeah, he had it in his left hand.
It looked like he had it, and so it was very interesting ending there. But then after the game, Davante Adams walking off the field, I guess employee of the stadium walks in front of him. He shoves him down. Bad look. It was caught on camera. And so Davante Adams, I think he ended up going on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt and apologizing, and then he sent out a tweet. He said, sorry to the guy pushed over after the game, obviously very frustrated at the way the game ended, and when he ran in front of me as I exited, that was my reaction. I felt horrible immediately. That's not me. All caps, my apologies. Man, hope you see this. So, obviously, seems very sincere about his apology. I don't like to judge people's character based on one instance or whatever, but obviously a lot of emotions going on.
Yeah.
You think you catch that ball. You think that you've just basically put your team in position to win the game. Obviously very frustrated. I don't think that necessarily means you can push somebody down, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe that he can do something for that guy, or I don't know. Hopefully people don't go too hard on him. But we do need to get to a break. On the other side, Brett Norsworthy is going to join us, so stick around. You're listening to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. When you hear the words healthy aging, do you think of vitamins, eating veggies? What if I told you it's just as important to spend time with friends, to have a purpose that gets you up each and every morning? At AmeriCare in Memphis at South Breeze, Collierville, Schilling Gardens, and in Olive Branch at Olive Grove Terrace, we believe that for healthy aging, where you live really does matter. In their smaller, more intimate community, it's easier to make friends, join fun activities, share good company at mealtimes, and feel right at home. Not only are these ingredients for healthy aging, they're part of something extra. AmeriCare's proactive approach to wellness. What does that mean? AmeriCare works hard to keep you healthy and strong so you can keep doing what you love. They even offer a special program designed to help reduce the risk of falling. When you maintain your health, you set a course for aging well and living happier. At AmeriCare, Memphis South Breeze, Collierville, Schilling Gardens, and in Olive Branch at Olive Grove Terrace, they can help you do both.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 37th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. I invite you to come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis, jewelry that's guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones that you can imagine, and you'll find a selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage and will put a smile on her face. With our experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece, the piece that says, I love you. For 37 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple the jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Collierville Auto Center is all about trucks and Jeeps, and the inventory is all stocked up. Been looking for that special ride? You're covered from the basics on up. Want to sell your truck or Jeep? Then bring it in and get a fair deal. The technicians at Collierville Auto Center know just about all there is to know when it comes to trucks and Jeeps. So don't be afraid to ask questions. They've probably heard them all. Every truck on the lot has been fully serviced from top to bottom and bumper to bumper, and there are warranties available. Collierville Auto Center, 651 West Poplar in Collierville, and online at colliervilleautocenter.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events that let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back to Wolo and Friends. I'm Bryant Dacus, sitting in for Dave Woloshin this week. Zach Boyd also here with me. He's been here for a long time this morning. I feel bad for him, but he's helping me out, so I am very appreciative of him. And joining us now from Sportstime in the afternoons, you can listen to him 3 to 6. Brett Norsworthy is joining me. Brett, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, Bryant, and ready for the baseball to get going in a little less than 2 hours.
Oh, I can't wait. We've got a full slate of baseball games today, seeing some of the teams that won in the wild card, obviously, and then some of the teams that kind of got some rest over the past weekend, didn't have to play in the wild card. The Yankees playing the Guardians this afternoon, and we talked last week about who's played who in postseasons in history. You tell me you have the Yankees.
And we thought it would be a big number,
huge
and
number.
it is probably bigger than I even imagined. Of the current 29 other teams, they have faced everyone in the current American League except for Toronto and the White Sox. Mm-hmm. They faced Milwaukee back in the day when Milwaukee was still in the American League. So you have that. And for the National League, they have faced 12 teams that are in Major League Baseball now from the National League. The Phillies, Miami, Arizona, the Mets, Atlanta, San Diego, the Dodgers, Cincinnati, St. Louis, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and the Cubs. I'm not counting like New York Giants and Milwaukee Braves.
Right.
If they're not currently and they've never faced Washington or Colorado in a World Series. The Yankees have done it about all.
They're always there. I mean, you know they're gonna make it to the postseason and usually go deep. Before we get into some college football, I mean, what is there one matchup in the divisional series that you're really excited about?
I like the youngins in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I think they can pull that upset, and it would be a massive upset. I don't think Terry Francona really thought that team would be around at the end. It is the youngest team in baseball, and they were in 2 classic games last week. I don't know if you can live for that little hitting, but that much pitching. Oh, and their pitchers are a little more known than their position players. But I think the country might respond to that. But you know the baseball honchos, they want Dodgers, Yankees. I don't blame them. And it's big money. I don't blame them. That would be a marquee series. I'm kind of for anything but that.
Mm-hmm. And I think you talked about the pitchers. Pitchers have been definitely their strongest asset during the playoffs, and I think it speaks a lot to Terry Francona. I think he knows kind of that this is playoff baseball, and you've got to use those starting pitchers. We saw him use both of his guys in those first 2 games, go really long. I think the first guy went 7 1/3. Second guy went 6 and maybe a third. So he's really using his starting pitchers, and I think that's what you got to do in playoff baseball.
It's the big leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the big leagues, and it's money time. I mean, let's go 5 and 2 and 1 and 1. Did my math add up there? No. I mean, roll out those aces.
Ride those guys.
The proverbial, you have all winter to rest.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it should be fun, and I'm super excited. What is it? Is it 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock we get first pitch?
12:07 Central, and the National League pitching matchup today, Suarez versus Freed, that's the pitching matchup I saw in Atlanta about 24 days ago on a Friday night, and that was a classic game. That was a 4-2 down to the end of the game. I mean, it sped by. The pace was great. I think you're going to have that with both of those guys out there today. And the Phillies know, they kind of know, you get that first one, you've got that big, bad home team on their heels. And the Phillies were just better than the Cardinals. They were. They deserved to win.
They
did really easily.
They really did. But switching over to some college football, obviously SEC off and rolling and looking good. We'll start with Ole Miss Rebels, who you obviously cover very closely. They improved to 6-0 against Vanderbilt, trailed at halftime, but through 6 games, what have you kind of liked? What is your assessment of Jackson Dart?
I like how he has improved every week, and I think the competition in the spring, in August camp, and even the open designation of starting quarterback, I think that helped him, and he responded to it well. He wasn't petulant, he wasn't selfish. He was a team guy about it. And Luke Altmaier, the ultimate team guy, and that's why late in that game last Saturday, Kincaid Dent went in, because I think they're trying to preserve the year for Luke Altmaier. They met with his family and want him to be able to have the year and be able to immediately transfer and possibly play somewhere next year. Who knows where that could be? It could be somewhere near. It could be somewhere far. But if Dart got hurt, I think they have the understanding that Altmaier would have to be the real backup quarterback then. But Ole Miss has improved every week, but they have not faced a difficult schedule. I would say most, if not all, maybe not 100%, but most people had Ole Miss 6-0 to this point. That's not any surprise. Now the Georgia Tech win's looking a little better with them showing some life after the coaching change, but they're not very good. Vanderbilt's not very good. The best team Ole Miss has defeated so far is Kentucky, and then Will Levis getting hurt in that game hurt them last week in their loss to South Carolina. But Brian, it irritates me that every year I get to this point at about the halfway mark. Maybe it's too much analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis with the SEC. I don't see anybody that really stands out. I look at the SEC right now. It's good. It's probably the best conference in the country. It probably is, but it's not light years better, I don't think, than other leagues. It's really good, though, and I kind of see tiers. I see the Bama, Georgia, Bama tier is one. Then not that far behind it, I think, is Tennessee. And then not that far behind that tier is Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Probably would rank Ole Miss a little over State because they haven't lost a game. But I think State's overall schedule has been tougher than Ole Miss's so far.
Yeah, I agree. And you talked about with Luke Altmaier and how it looks like they're trying to preserve that year. And I didn't even, that kind of just made me kind of think about how Lane Kiffin did a great job with the transfer portal, but he also seems like the type of coach that really kind of has his players back and kind of wants the best interest for his guys. You kind of saw with John Rice Plumlee last year. He knows if you're not going to be able to play here, I want to do my best to kind of give you that opportunity to go somewhere else and still have an opportunity.
He will in a second. He'll sign the transfer papers and try to help someone in a second with it. And you almost have to have that persona now, real or perceived, but preferably both. You want it to be sincere. You almost have to have that type of persona in this free agency that we're in around college football. If you want to go attract someone like that, you can't be reticent or belligerent about someone. The door's got to swing both ways.
Good point.
Or then you're really kind of indentured if it doesn't swing both ways, and it definitely does. And he understands that, and he saw it with John Rice. Just one of the sillier things early in the year is people thinking, well, maybe they should have kept Plumlee over Dart. I think that has shown that Dart is a better college quarterback.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to get to with Ole Miss is kind of the emergence of Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. You talked a lot about the running back position before the season started, how big of a role they were going to play this year. What have you kind of thought about that group, and especially Judkins this year?
It was a bold summertime media days August take to say, and I did, and I said it because I believed it. Nobody's making me say anything. That I thought the running back room this year would be better than the one last year, and that one last year, I mean, that's Ely, Snoop Connor, Henry Parrish.
That was great.
That's and you know they all could have returned, would have been fine with that, but two went pro, one wanted to transfer closer back to home with Henry Parrish going to the U. Yeah. Okay, so fine. And to go out and replace it with this in recruiting and in the transfer portal. Now, Ulysses Bentley was a big part of that as well, but he's been out with a wrist injury, and it's going to be a while before he gets back. He may be the better of the three receivers out of the backfield and hits the hole really well. But Evans had 80 yards Saturday on 11 carries. I think Judkins had 11 carries. They're helping each other. There's so much tread on a tire and a shoulder. Yeah. And for them not to be taking those hits, it's helping them both on the back end. It's helping the team, first and foremost, on the back end for this year to always keep somebody fresh.
That's absolutely right, and it's paid off for them this year to have that many guys in the backfield. Big game this weekend in the SEC, 2:30 on CBS. Number 3 Alabama versus number 6 Tennessee. You made it very clear your love for Hendon Hooker last week when on Sports Time when you proclaimed that he was going to have a Heisman showing against LSU, and he looked fantastic this weekend. Do you think, I've heard a lot of conversation about Hendon Hooker in his time at Virginia Tech. Do you think that this is Hendon Hooker just improving as he gets older, or do you think this is a product of Josh Heupel's offense and being able to kind of showcase his skills in Heupel's offense?
I think it's both of those, but I also think it's just old-fashioned pride. Hendon Hooker kind of left Virginia Tech, a little bit scarred with his image, his portrayal as a quarterback. Got to Tennessee and had to sit and watch Joe Milton got his chance, and Josh Heupel and coaches that no, I'm gonna stay with my guy no matter what. I've got to make this, I got to justify this. No, he quickly recognized this guy can lead us better, and for Tennessee Saturday, think of the stakes. The biggest game on Rocky Top in a long, long time. Game day back 2 times, in 3-4 week span. Trying to break that streak against Nick Saban. 0-15 against Nick Saban. This series historically always ran real hot and real cold for teams. It was kind of a stretch series, a winning streak series, but never this long, never this prolonged. Goalposts come down. Hendon Hooker clearly elevated to Heisman Trophy winning status. As big as it's been at Tennessee, maybe since 2000, 2001, or into the 90s with T. Martin, and before that Peyton Manning, when Tennessee was always in these games. I thought Josh Heupel would be successful. I didn't know if he would do it this quickly. You saw last year that he was showing that he was going to get it done there, and now this year and this week, any Tennessee we're back, they don't have to explain it another time if they beat Bama.
They don't have to say a thing after they say it. Last thing I want to get to.
Scoreboard and the goalpost.
That's right. Just point to that scoreboard. Last thing I want to get to before we let you go, obviously a gut-wrenching loss for the Tigers on Friday. I mean, you felt like you had that game and then just let it kind of slip away in those last couple of minutes. But obviously, only second loss this season, only first loss in conference play. Now you go onto the road for 2 games. You'll probably be underdogs in both games, and then you've got a bye week. What do the Tigers need to do to kind of get back into that winning way?
I think run the ball and get a little more confidence early in a game for Seth Hennigan. Bryant, you could argue that Friday night was probably the best the Tigers played all year for 52 scoreboard minutes. I think it's unarguable. but I can't have it both ways. I can't be the 4-1's 4-1 and then try to dissect. Well, 52 minutes was good. No, it was a loss.
Yep.
And 4-1 is now 4-2. At 5-1, a little bit like the scoreboard at UT. There's no explanation.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate decider. And now the two most rugged back-to-back weeks, I thought, all year for the Tigers. On the road at East Carolina, Saturday night, Dowdy-Ficklin, and then next Saturday at Yeoman against Tulane. A split of these two would look terrific. A sweep would be great. Getting swept wouldn't be the end of the year, but it would make Central Florida at home at the stadium on November 5th a must.
I think you're right. I think you're getting into a very important stretch. Luckily, you've got that bye week kind of sandwiched in there between it. But, Brett, we'll let you go. I'll talk to you this afternoon. Thanks again for joining us.
You got it, Brian. Anytime. Good job.
Thank you. We'll be right back around the corner. We'll close out this Tuesday edition of Wolo and Friends. Stick with us. You're listening to Sports 56 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? Because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now, through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Whether it's a small clog or a large sewer main drain issue, the experienced technicians at Conway Services are ready to solve all your drain problems. For a limited time, take advantage of our 93 or it's free drain clearing special. That's right, $93 or it's free. If we can't clear it, you don't pay.
License number 64210, 64365, EAS MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you with the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity, longevity, and you need to know you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention BetUS 2022, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
Bienvenidos! Welcome to Los Cabos with 4 locations: Quince, Bartlett, Germantown, and now on Goodman Road. Los Cabos serving the best food in town with quality service and a fun family atmosphere. At Los Cabos, food and drink are an important part of the dining experience, so you get exceptional food with cocktails worthy of that food. You'll find the best margaritas at Los Cabos, along with delicious specialty drinks, handcrafted cocktails, beer, and happy hour specials 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. Los Cabos is open for lunch and dinner, with lunch specials every day starting at $7. Come enjoy delicious Mexican dishes and seafood at the best sports bars in town. Visit with family and friends and enjoy Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill. Los Cabos, now with 4 locations: Quince, Bartlett, Germantown, and their newest location, 3964 Goodman Road, just a few minutes down the road from Getwell. See you soon at Los Cabos.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhead for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $2,000 and interest rates low as 0%. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way of doing business. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
All right, we're back. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. About to wrap today up, but not for us, because we'll stick around for Johnny Radio's happy hour for the next 2 hours. We'll have a lot of fun there, but we're about to get out of here for Dave's portion of the show. But I do, before we get out, I want to bring up something that I saw on Twitter this morning while I was sitting. You know, I get here early, Zach, and I try to do some prep. You know, I do some prep before I leave the house, and then I'm like, I got to get there because I don't want to get stuck in traffic or anything. So I get here a little early. I do some prep, and then, it's showtime. But part of my prep is just kind of scrolling through Twitter because you never know what you're going to see, maybe some breaking news or something. Well, I found out that yesterday, I don't know what group it was technically, I'm getting conflicting reports here. But what I do know is we now have the top 10 most handsome head coaches in the NBA.
Excuse me?
Top 10 most handsome head coaches in the National Basketball League. And if you didn't know, we start National Basketball League games. National Basketball Association, I guess. The NBL is a different thing.
That's next week.
Next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So it's right on time to get the top 10 most handsome coaches in the NBA.
So before you get to it, like who created this survey?
Okay, so now I can't remember who posted it, but somebody posted it on Twitter, and like from an official Detroit Pistons. Who's our friend that went up to Detroit?
It's Omari Sankofa.
Yes, he posted it because I saw it on his, because I was so happy because I loved reading Omari's stuff when he was here. And then when I heard he was going to Detroit, Kate Cunningham up there, I was very excited. So he posted this an hour ago. This was an official press release from the Pistons. It says, Dwayne Casey named third most handsome NBA coach of 2022, according to Beauty Technology Analysis. So I'm guessing, because I'm on gambling.com, has the rankings. I'm guessing they were the ones that put it out, but they used this Beauty Technology Analysis, which is like some app where you put like a picture of somebody and it tells you how beautiful they are.
Okay.
And so, of course, when I saw this, I was like, I have to know more. So I looked it up. Would you like to know the top 10 most handsome head coaches in the NBA?
I mean, since you already got the list
I got it pulled up right here.
You might as well.
Okay.
Not like I'm like actively searching for it.
We'll start at number 10, work our way up. See if you agree. Nick Nurse, number 10 for the Toronto Raptors.
I got no comment.
Number 9, Steven Silas for the Rockets.
And no comment.
Number 8, Ime Udoka for Boston. 7.
It's questionable, but no comment.
Michael Malone for the Nuggets. 6, Steve Nash for the Nets. Seems a little low for Steve
That
Nash.
is a little low for Steve Nash.
Seems a little low, but whatever.
The ladies love Nash.
Exactly. Number 5, Nate McMillan for the Hawks. Which I need to pull up just...
You don't know what Nate McMillan
No, I know
like?
what he looks like, but I need to see a picture to see if I really think that he's, what is he listed at? Number 5.
He top 5.
Maybe a little high. I don't want to be disrespectful to Nate.
Nate McMillan is a top 5 baddie head coach.
Number 5, Mike Budenholzer.
Okay.
Which, again, seems a little high. Maybe if he shaved. Number 3, Dwayne Casey. Number 2, Steve Clifford for the Hornets. And number 1, former Grizzlies coach J.B. Bickerstaff is the most handsome coach in the NBA.
What happened to Coach Tay-Tay, man?
Not in the top 10.
Oh, come on, man.
Not in the top 10. But this is interesting. By age, number 4 is the 40-year-old head coaches. They rank as the most unattractive head coaches in the NBA.
This is
Number 3 is the 30s. Number 2 is the 50s. Number 1 is the 60s.
Look, I can tell you right now, the Grizzlies aunties are not too pleased with this list.
Taylor Jenkins isn't in there. I was
Coach-
bummed. That's the only reason I pulled it up, because I was like, Taylor's got to be in there.
The Grizz aunties are going to have a quick meeting after this, because they are not pleased with this list. The fact that Coach Taylor Jenkins
Not in the top 10.
have a beard, and everybody, well, all the women love it.
Beards, yeah.
And he's not on the list. Like,
it's ridiculous.
The Grizz aunties are like, let me shoot me an email so I can be a part of it. I just want to listen. That's all.
I just want to listen to the conversation. So if you take anything from today, all of our nonsense we talked about in the last hour, just know that Taylor Jenkins not in the top 10 most handsome coaches, but maybe we can change that by the end of the season. Thanks for listening. We're going to be back around the corner for Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, but for Wolo and Friends, for the vacationing Dave Woloshin, for the sick Jay Morgan Harder, for Zach, I'm Bryant. We'll talk to you again at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Y'all have a great day.